sketchbook for me is more the learning side. There is the therapeutic value within that as well because it's creativity. Where the art journaling, the focus is on the therapeutic value. Does that make sense? It's processing emotions, celebrating, healing, going through that process in a written down form. And I say written, not drawn, because often it's the writing for me that comes first. I'm learning every day about myself and other people. I'm learning about life. I'm a constant student and a constant work in progress. If you watched the last video, you will know that I had a bit of a wobbly couple of weeks. But I think the journaling process in itself, it's so vital for mental well-being. I couldn't do without it, I know for sure. And yeah, the whole thing just completely saves me on so many different levels and in so many different scenarios.
Middle of the road, it's just a feeling of a distant melody unknown. I was doing fine, I minded my own business till the day you took me home. You came into my life like a sweet embrace, swept me off my feet and made me whole again.
So good morning, how are you doing? So I'm doing a little morning sketchbook practice. I've done a little John W. Waterhouse sketch. And I'm really rusty in my sketchbook, I have to say. I haven't been working in it regularly at all. And I do plan to change that though, because it's just something you can just dip into, one little pencil. And just in case you're wondering, I'm using a Faber-Castell pencil, and it's one of those grippy ones that the lead comes out so you can have it nice and long. I believe this is a 2B lead. It says 2B on it, so I think it's a 2B lead. And I've also been using my Rotring Tiki pencil as well. So I really like these two pencils. I've got this book, which is just some John Waterhouse drawings. And I've been looking at this one, these pages. So I might sketch this one in a little while as well. But I just thought I would do some morning pages, you know, sort of arty sketchbook style, because I always say to myself, and I think I say it on here quite a lot as well, you must do a little something straight away. Because if you start by procrastinating, then often that leads us to a day of procrastination, basically. So I think we need to use the phrase, start as we mean to go on, and we can change how our day is going in every single moment. Every single moment is an opportunity to switch things around. Or as James always says, you know, can you flip it? So I love that. I'm having a bit of a problem with my Robert Smith jasmine plant, and I really don't know what to do. But I don't know what's wrong with it. It was absolutely fine. It was so sad. It looks like it hasn't had any water. But believe me, the soil is damp. It's definitely not underwatered. I've only been watering it as I've been watering it for the last 5 years or so. So I haven't been overwatering it either. Is it something to do with the roots? So if you know anything about jasmine trees, and this was my Robert Smith plant because of the hair. It looks like his hair, you know, does. Yeah, I'm really miserable about that this morning. Continuing to, just shed leaves everywhere. And I'm gonna take it out of its pot and have a look, see what's going on, see if I can repot it into some fresh compost. Cut off all the dead stuff as well, so it's gonna look a bit bald for a while. I don't know if he minds, whether Robert Smith would mind that. He probably would. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, things are going wrong as well as things going right as well. As they are in life, you know, that's just the way it is, isn't it? What else have I got to tell you then before we start? Oh, I did cut my hair, and I cut 7 inches off it. So as you can see, it's not a bob. I didn't cut all that off yet, but I did what James suggested, which is to kind of go to this kind of length in my sort of elbow, and then maybe take it a little bit shorter, because I think my daughter kind of says it would look nice kind of a little bit shorter, kind of, you know, say in the pocket, that kind of length. It's still long, yeah, but it feels short to me, but it feels so much more healthy. It's also lighter on my head, even if it's just 7 inches. I did film a bit, I think, for you as well. today I'm going to do some art journaling. I like to go within. When I do some art journaling, I like to go within, so it's probably, my process looks a little bit like this. A little bit of writing, maybe for about half an hour, something like that. I go within, I see what wants to come out, and then I go into the zone, if you like, you know, the arty space, the creative side of my brain, and see what wants to appear on the page. Instinctively and intuitively pick colours and pick, you know, materials to use, because I'm very mixed media, especially my art journals. So, but I feel like doing some more sketches today as well, so I might do sketchbook, art journal, and swap and swap about a bit. Yes. Anyway, I hope whatever you're doing, you're having a really good day. Let me just say that. Cheers to you out there. Have a nice cozy drink. Definitely, and thanks so much for joining me, keeping me company in these last few videos as well, and the lovely comments, because in the mornings I get my cup of coffee, decaf of course, and I dip into the comments. I love reading those, so I'm going to do a little bit of that as well today. That's my plan. If you saw the last video as well, I've just come over here a little bit because I want to do a little tidy up over here. There's not actually that much to tidy, you know, since the whole studio declutter thing, there's not that much tidying. So you can't really organise things until you declutter, and then once you've decluttered, tidying up becomes a heck of a lot easier. Anyway, yes, if you saw the last video, you'll have seen I wasn't really in a good headspace, and I spent quite a lot of days and time in bed and other days just doing nothing, and I gave myself a complete rest. It was so needed and has, you know, made me feel a heck of a lot better as well. So I'm hoping for a good week this week. I'm feeling very positive and bright this morning, and I have to say I've got a little bit more energy as well, so maybe the passing of that full moon. Somebody had put in the comments as well that it was quite a masculine full moon in Leo, so that could be a bit of an energy zapper, so that was helpful as well, so thank you if you left that comment. Anyway, so hello beauties, welcome to the studio and welcome to a new art journaling video. So this one is for the month of February, and I've just grabbed my just been journaling a bit, just writing down kind of stream of consciousness writing in a way, but with a focus. And I just wanted to pop in here and talk to you about my process, because I don't really open up on here about some of the things I do in the art journaling, you know, in the videos I make and post up on Patreon every month. So I do a new art journaling video every month, and I try my best, as long as I'm kind of comfortable and everything, to share quite a lot. Sometimes it varies a little bit, and sometimes, you know, it goes with, you know, how I'm feeling at the time. If you watch the last video, you will know that I had a bit of a wobbly couple of weeks and ended up needing to do absolutely nothing. I had like a system shutdown, if you like, and my brain just, you know, completely cut out. I think I was processing some buried emotions over something. That's what I'm journaling about now. Something happened as well which triggered off the sadness about something, you know, that I'm sad about from a long time ago. I don't want to get too specific because it involves other people, and I don't want to, you know, speak unkindly on here at all. Suffice to say, I needed to process these sad emotions, and it was a lot. So I experienced a system shutdown and stopped doing anything, took the pressure off myself. I still had work to do, so I had to do this in between. You know, we have to make it work for us, don't we? And we do have our necessaries that we need to get done. Anyway, I just thought I'd pop in here and say about my process, because I feel like I want to change my art journaling process a little bit and make sure that I handwrite underneath the layers, you know, go quite deep within that process. So often I'll sit and handwrite on my own, and I do a lot of journaling on my computer, on my laptop. I type it up. I have since got a vintage typewriter as well, which I've been using for journaling. But specifically when I make my videos, I suppose I hold back a little bit when I'm writing on the pages, because I don't want to overshare on there or cause anyone to be, you know, triggered by anything. But at the same time, it's finding a balance between being authentic and it being emotionally healing and helpful process, and also the oversharing part. Anyway, that's pretty easy in artwork actually, because you can just paint over things and it's still there, but it's covered up. I do that quite a lot in the Patreon. I do say, that there's certain things I don't want to share, and they completely obviously understand that. We all have our private thoughts and memories and levels of sadness, feelings of rejection, of not being good enough, and all that stuff we have buried within us. Our experiences over, from childhood into our teens and beyond. And I think I had this kind of epiphany overnight. I've been having some quite vivid dreams and waking up in the middle of the night and having thoughts. And then I have a journal next to my bed at night, and I sit and write in that. I just kind of had this realization. So that's why I'm sort of talking to you about it now, because it feels like quite a big thing that, when you're journaling or when you're creating or when you're sketchbooking, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's your journal or a sketchbook or a mixture, and kind of it crosses over, doesn't it? We've talked about that a lot. It doesn't matter what that is, but it is a process that evolves with us. And I just feel like my journaling process has really evolved in the last maybe 2 or 3 months, and it's continuing to do so. I'm having a really big kind of epiphany about how I want to journal and moving forwards to make it as much processing and healing and really helpful as possible. And for me, and also for people that are journaling with me, sharing the process. We don't all journal in the same way, but by sharing our processes and the way we do things, we can help each other, can't we? Which is why I think it's really helpful to do it in community. I feel very strongly about that, which is why I do it in the first place. But yeah, I just wanted to pop in and sort of say that. So I'm going to do some artwork on the top of this, see who comes out. But this layer is really important, and I've gone a little bit deeper than I normally would, but yeah, I think it's important. So anyway, you'll have to let me know in the comments whether you journal or art journal or a mixture of the two, and how you do it, how you kind of process raw emotions that need to move through our bodies. That's why it's emotion, isn't it? It is something that has to have a motion to move through our bodies. And I think about it sort of the way I have my breath cycle and the way I have my heartbeat cycle. So my blood is pumping around my body, my breath is coming in and out, and I feel like we release things by doing that, our respiratory processing. And I kind of see it a little bit like that. Sometimes when it's really painful, for me anyway, and you'll have to again tell me your experiences, but it's just another layer. And I feel like in this case, because it's to do with pain that I felt from maybe being rejected from others, so it's more about we can't control how other people behave and react. We can only control ourselves. We know this, don't we? So for me, this process, it's just a layer, because I can't actually fix it and heal it 100%, because I carry around some of the hurt from the past. But it's about letting go, isn't it? So I come back to letting go all the time. It's about letting go. It's about forgiveness. Sometimes forgiving ourselves as well as forgiving others. Really important. We don't want to be in what I call the shame or guilt shut down either, and we don't want to put anyone else into that shame or shut down prison by not forgiving them. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on without me telling you too much, if that makes sense. But I think the journaling process in itself, it's so vital for mental well-being. I couldn't do without it, I know for sure. And yeah, the whole thing just completely saves me on so many different levels and in so many different scenarios. Now I'm growing into what I like to call growing into my elder wisdom. I don't feel like I'm there yet, but I feel like there are elements of wisdom coming through. Yeah, I'm learning every day about myself and other people. I'm learning about life. I'm a constant student and a constant work in progress. And so yeah, this is just the journaling part, progressing and helping me progress to the next layer of it all. If any of that makes sense to you, then let me know.
Sun's warm kiss, a love so strong, a bliss. Whispers of the breeze, secrets unfold. It's you that I need, it's you that I want. When the world gets cold, it's you and me. When the sun comes back, you'll see. Oh, dandelion, the strength that you've shown.
What we're doing?
We are just getting our tax returns together
For...
for mortgage. Just on your email to see where
Oh
the
yeah.
accountant's sent it.
Does that say prices? Oh, that's you. Flop. 3 months bank statement and 2 years taxes. I might research that as a thing actually. Yeah, got to do a bit of practicals, bit of necessaries, bit of sorting the house, you know.
Middle of the road, it's just a feeling of a distant melody unknown. I was doing fine.
I often get asked the question of what's the difference between art journaling and sketchbooking. And it's a really good question and an important one. But I have to say, I personally believe for me and my practice, there is definitely massive crossover between the two. There are elements of learning. So you know, maybe learning how to draw form or tonal values or a portrait or something like that. That can be in either. There's also the creative magic, which is, you know, if you get into your creative flow, there is that beautiful magical experience of disappearing for a while, which is kind of, I disappeared when I did the little nymphs. Love disappearing. It doesn't, memory card died on me then, sorry about that. So yes, it doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's getting away from everything, and that's the sort of therapeutic aspect of creativity. You know, whether you're sewing, knitting, cooking, gardening, painting, drawing, you lose yourself in that other side of your brain, if you like. And so I always think with creativity, it's about that there are therapeutic values, and that definitely becomes more apparent within, for me anyway, I can speak for me, so you have to let me know in the comments what it is for you. But for me, when I'm art journaling, it's a real therapeutic process, and particularly the way I'm moving into it as I continue my process, it's becoming more and more personal. I'm more able to share in a more personal way, if you like, where I think when I begun maybe on the Patreon doing my art journaling videos 4 years ago now, there's a lot of art journaling videos up there. If you'd like to art journal, come and join us. At the end of the day, through living and doing that process of regular art journaling, and filming it for tutorials and things like that, which is part of my job, that's part of what I do. So becoming really comfortable with doing that, creating while you're filming and that kind of thing, it's a learning curve. It's all a learning curve. And to be able to lose yourself creatively while the camera's on, it's not always easy, and it doesn't always happen. And I think maybe as a viewer you could probably tell as well when you're watching people's creativity videos, sometimes the magic happens and sometimes it doesn't. No matter how long we've been doing it or what level of expertise indeed that we have, that's irrelevant, isn't it? But this therapeutic value of it makes the journaling process accessible to everybody, whether you're an artist or not. And I love that about art journaling. So where the sketchbook for me is more about the learning side, there is the therapeutic value within that as well, because it's creativity. So it sneaks in there, doesn't it, quite happily, quite welcomely. Where the art journaling, the focus is on the therapeutic value. Does that make sense? It's processing emotions, celebrating, healing, going through that process in a written down form. And I say written, not drawn, because often it's the writing for me that comes first, beyond and above the actual artwork. And then I fluctuate between being really emotive and expressive, and then maybe looking at the design of the page. Maybe at the end of it I kind of overview the design of the page. This is my artistic hat on, and I think, oh, I don't like that there or that there, and I just do some finishing touches or fine tune a face here and there and that kind of thing, which is what I've did on this page that I did show you earlier. These are the last 2 pages in fact, and I feel like I'm able to express myself really freely on the art journaling pages. I know these are loose pages, but there's a whole thing about why those are loose pages at the moment. This little one as well, interestingly, was more of an observed, so I did have a reference for that one, but then I always stray away from the reference, but just it's an initial layer. And then other times I just go completely from my imagination and see who wants to emerge from the page, and in that sense it becomes really, really magical, because you don't know who's going to appear and you don't know what her message is. This one's called So Blue, but James sort of said to me, I think she should be called So Turquoise. Lol. Anyway, that's the process of it, and there's a lot of sadness for me on this page, but looking at the page doesn't make me feel bad. This is again another thing that people ask me, what do you do with difficult emotions, what we call shadow work, or some people call it dark journaling, where they're really letting rip on the page of some really painful stuff. And you can do it without it feeling too raw and vulnerable. A lot of people think, oh, if I write it down on the page, it's it becomes more real. But this is the beauty of the layering process, because you can cover certain bits, come through, and certain bits are covered, you see. So it's all a process. The process is a process, and then when you come out of the actual physical process of it, you've still got, I spilled that yesterday when I bumped it, you're still able to revisit with maybe a different headlamp on it, from processing it, if that makes sense. I do think that there's definite value in going back and revisiting difficult times, difficult memories, stuff we're holding on to. This for me lets it out. I'm getting it out of me, and I'm letting go of another layer. I can't say, with all the sadness that's in this page, I haven't let go of it just by doing this page, but I've let go of another layer of it, if you like, and also filmed it and recorded it and shared it in a video, which is a whole other process in itself. Anyway, I'm waffling now, so I will go and have some lunch and come. Well, I know my camera's a little bit wonky here, but I can work it out a little bit. I think that's a little bit better. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and keeping me company, the best company. Try to keep your lights shining bright, and I will see you really, really soon in the next one. Lots of love, and bye for now.